My name is Jennifer Bressenham, and I will be talking about your library collection policy and self-censorship and how it influences all of that. So, as I was researching that, there's lots of reasons to have a collections policy, and it was really hard to narrow down. But my top three reasons were one, that it helps the community know what is in your collection. And once you have that in there, they're able to see what you have in your collection, why. It also provides goals for your library so that they are specific and targeted to your needs of the library as well. And that's something that I think is essential, especially if you have inherited an old library like I have, that I've had to weed out a huge collection because they've been old and I need to update it because it needs to be current. It also gives you criteria and procedure to follow. And that is something that is very, very essential that will come up, especially if you have issues within your collection, or parents or teachers or whoever are going to challenge you on certain things and why you have them in the library or why you don't have them in the library. And so that is something that is essential to when you're making a collections policy. Also, self censorship is something that is going to be a big deal in your collection policy that I hadn't really thought of. And so I think that you need to examine yourself after reading this article that I read. It was particularly on graphic novels, but it was really great in general because it covered a lot of things about self censorship, because a lot of things that influence your self censorship are your own beliefs, influence of your coworkers. Like if they don't necessarily like graphic novels, then you might not buy as many graphic novels, or you might not offer the graphic novels to that class or whatever. And I know that's kind of been said to me before from coworkers, but I've still like offered the graphic novels anyway. Um, you also have influence of book challenges that I'm going to talk about later. And then you also have influence of your admin, because sometimes your admin will push you to not allow a certain book or whatever because it might be controversial and that kind of thing. And in this article by William Bicknell, they founded a case study by Ken Coley that he did of high school librarians in Texas, and 82% of his sample practiced self censorship. And then they broke it down a little bit more and was like 87%, and this is high school. So 87% restricted sexual content, 61% objectionable language, and 51% violence, which I think a lot of influence might just be that it's a very conservative state or whatever, or their own beliefs come into play. And as with the influences of book challenges, censorship is on the rise, they state in their article, and that they have been um, on the rise with librarians as well with their self censorship, not just the book challenges, and that 25% of librarians in their future purchases were influenced by book challenges. And so, a significant reason for self censorship was essentially to prevent formal or informal challenges from the community, which I understand because you don't want to have anybody challenge you, but at the same time, you still want to offer books and give kids the choice. So, what did librarians do in that instance? They restricted access to certain books, got parental permission for certain books, labeled certain books so that they might know that they might be controversial. And then in the Kyle article, it talked about how quality and market appeal were not necessarily one and the same, and how sometimes the mainstream media plays a huge role in the books that you choose, and that quality is something that you can find in any good book. So be aware of self censorship and examine my collection and influences, and then also have clear goals in my collection policy that nothing can be questioned or get stakeholders involved, and focus on the quality. Take the information from his article and put it into practice. And then these are my references. Thank you.